Hello, everyone. So today's case, we're going to be talking about a little boy named Kashawn Allen, and I do want to give a trigger warning here because this is addressing a child. But this video is going to be talking about some very, very distressing content about Kashawn. It's just appalling, disgusting, horrifying, and maddening what this child had to go through. This child was essentially living a nightmare. And I felt sick the entire time I was researching this case. So I do want to put this trigger warning out here. This is probably one of the most uh, horrible child cases that I've brought to you guys. Um, they're all horrible, but there's just something about this one. It's the lack of care and empathy from the caregivers, the parents. I can't understand it. So I'm just putting it out there that you'll probably be um, very upset by the time this is over. I know that I was. Um, I want to apologize real quick. My voice keeps going in and out because I filmed like 5 other videos tonight, so I apologize. I just want to put that out there. All the links that I used for research will be down below, and let's go ahead and get into this. So Kashawn was just a little 3-year-old boy when an absolute tragedy happened to him, and it was by his parents' hand. On the afternoon of May 12th, deputies and fire crews were responding to a call about an unresponsive child at the home of Kashawn's mom, Takesha Williams, who is, or was at the time, 24, and her 2 children. His father, Ephraim Allen, who was 25, had been helping with Kashawn. What they found at the home was disturbing and bone-chilling, to say the least. So, upon arrival, first responders found the boy connected to a ventilator, though he didn't have a pulse. He was taken to the hospital, where he later died despite several life-saving measures. An affidavit shows that he had numerous injuries, including large tears on his buttocks, to the point that his colon was visible. His stomach was also bloated. He appeared to be green, and there were open sores on the body, consistent with child neglect. Kashawn was on a ventilator because back in 2020, at a vacation home, he had been involved in a near drowning and had basically been connected to one ever since. Kashawn had no brain activity, couldn't even blink his eyes, couldn't have his couldn't move his extremities. It had been recommended to the parents that he be removed from any life-saving measures because he would forever be in a coma with no brain activity. Takesha and Ephraim chose instead to keep him alive by the use of a ventilator and stomach tube. A home health nurse had been visiting their home since 2020 when the parents decided uh, to switch healthcare companies within the past few months leading up to his death. The parents told police that they supposedly knew how to tend to his medical needs, although he had developed large open sores since the prior months. However, they chose not to contact anyone over the issue due to being afraid of having their children taken away by state officials. Which, honestly, those children should have been out of that house long before now. So, the parents claimed that he appeared to be alive on the night of May 11th, but they said that his stomach was bloated the morning of May 12th and cold to the touch. They waited until the afternoon of that day to call 911. So even though, he was bloated, he was green, and he was cold to the touch like a dead body, they waited half a day to call 911. So this is a quote from Sheriff Judd, and this was at a press conference. And this quote is, "This child had an extremely extended stomach, and it was green. This child was rotting in the bed." End quote. That quote it made me cry, and I wanted to be physically sick to just think of how this little boy looked, how long he had looked like that. He was just rotting away in his bed, and his family didn't care. I can't imagine not giving a shit that much about a little child, that you're just letting him rot in his bed. It's absolutely disgusting. So, police say that doctors at the hospital said he hadn't been receiving appropriate care for months. Both parents were arrested on charges of negligent child abuse causing great harm, which were upgraded to aggravated manslaughter of a child. And another quote from Sheriff Judd, and he says, "I've seen some truly horrific events in my long law enforcement career, but I have never, ever seen anything as sad, as bone-chilling, and as sickening as what this baby suffered before finally perishing from the despicable acts of these two criminals." End quote. The other children in the home appear to be in good health. Um, and the parents are currently in the Polk County Detention Center. So that is the update I have for you. As far as I know, they have not went to trial or anything like that. And if they have, at least I haven't seen anything about it. But I hope to update you guys soon. This I can't. This is just so gross to me. I can't imagine being a parent and just not caring. So, doctors had said that he hadn't been receiving appropriate care for months. I don't know if it's doctors at a hospital where, the home health nurse came from or whatever. I don't know if, like, the doctors he was, I'm sure he had to see doctors. I'm not sure if it's like they've been seeing him and he hadn't been receiving appropriate care, or just from seeing his body when he went and after he passed away, and just knowing that he hadn't received the appropriate care. I'm not sure, but if it's the first one where they had seen him before, I'd be really upset if they hadn't ever, tried to step in. That would be incredibly alarming if, they hadn't ever bothered to do that, but that wasn't very clear in the articles I was reading, so I'm unsure. I don't understand why other family members never stepped in. I don't understand why the parents even kept him on a ventilator if they were going to allow this to happen. Like, it was recommended that they just, they let him go because he would, never have any brain activity again. And instead, they kept him on this tube alive, and for what? To just rot away in his bed? It's fucking disgusting. And, I heard about this case from a YouTube channel called Annalise X Tinda Life, I believe. And I was going through the comments in that video, and one that really just pissed me off. Someone had said, "Who cares? Why does this matter? He had no brain activity. They didn't do anything wrong. He couldn't feel anything. The only crime here is that they were doing this to continue getting money or something like that." And I think that's just an absolutely foul way to think about this case. And if you are one of those people that are saying, "Well, why does it matter? He couldn't feel anything." How the fuck do you know? Just because you didn't have any brain activity, how do you know he wasn't fucking suffering? How do you know? He was rotting away. So how the fuck do you know? Why does it matter? Because he's a child who, while he has no brain activity, is technically still alive. And his parents are allowing him to just waste away. They're neglecting him. But why does it matter? If that is how you think, you are absolute fucking trash. So if I see any comments like that on this channel, I will lose my fucking shit. Be respectful. He was a little boy who had a horrible event happened to him. His parents said, let's keep him alive on a ventilator, even though it would probably be cruel, even though we should probably let him go. Let's keep him alive on this ventilator. And then they decided, you know what? Let's just let him rot away. Because they switched healthcare companies, got rid of the home nurse, said they knew what they were doing. They obviously fucking didn't. You're not fucking doctors. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. A child on a ventilator takes a lot of care. So the only thing I can think of is let's just let this little boy die. That's the only thing I can think of. I think it got to a point where they weren't happy with their decision to keep him alive anymore. They didn't have the money. So they said, we can take care of him. And then they just let him rot away. That is what I think happened. But I think it also got to a point where when he did pass away, they realized, oh shit, we can't get money out of this anymore. And I think they had to call someone in to help. But unfortunately, it was too late. I think that they are fucking disgusting. I think that they should have to spend decades in prison, if not life. I think it's absolutely disgusting. They willingly did this to a child, their child. And to me, that is one of the most unforgivable things that they could do, that anyone could do. This boy was bloated and green and cold and covered in sores. And they just waited to call 911. They are absolute fucking trash, and so is anybody who says they did nothing wrong. That is the case of Keshawn Allen. I will stay up to date on this case, and I will let you guys know when they finally go to trial and the outcomes of all of that. Hopefully they get sentenced to a very long time because I don't think they deserve to be out. But I will be letting you guys know when I have more information. Thank you so much for listening to Keshawn's story. And please just be respectful down below if you leave your thoughts. But that's going to be all for me today, guys. I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.